Thank you, everyone, for joining us here on Sunday afternoon with author Joan Spilman. She is a children's book author, and she has an exciting tale for you from her Waddling Dead series. Take it away, Joan.
Hello, this is Joan Spilman, and I am speaking to you from Hurricane, West Virginia. And I hope there's some children from Mountain View Elementary watching, because I have read there and you have probably heard this book, and I hope you hear it again. The title is The Waddling Dead, Evil Hatching, and this is the very first book of The Waddling Dead. It tells how the ducklings became zombies. And I wrote this because I have two grandsons and they were interested in ducks, and they had read Duck Crossing, and they were also, everywhere they looked, they saw zombies. So I put those two together and I came up with The Waddling Dead. And I hope you enjoy this book. So here we go. The kingdom of Waddle was in a high state of excitement. From the window of the royal balcony, King and Queen Duckworthy announced they were expecting a clutch in the spring. A clutch is a nest of eggs. The trumpeter swans blew loudly while all the ducks gave their enthusiastic approval. Sound effects. They stomped their web feet, snapped their beaks, and flapped their wings. Feathers flew like confetti, just like maybe you've ever busted a pillow when you're having a pillow fight on your bed. Things were wild. Soon the palace was flooded with duck diapers woven with the softest reeds, and tiny duck boots and raincoats, when feathers just weren't enough. Everything was ready for the arrival of the first egg. How many would there be? 8, 9, 10. Let's go over to this next page. Look how everyone is prepared. There's the kitchen staff with that beautiful cake. The kitchen staff waited. Look how many bags of flour they've had. Dr. Squawk waited. King Duckworthy waited. And he's really impatient because he's flipping all those coins. Most of all, Queen Duckworthy waited. She waddled around the royal hatchery. She exercised. She drank gallons of hot filtered bog water until it spewed out her nose. And all the while, the king paced the hall. When he poked his head in the doorway to see how she was doing, an awful thing happened. Duck spat! Oh no, they've gotten in an argument. How am I doing? Queen Esmeralda rasped. My head pounds, my feet hurt, and I'm the size of a sow. Not a sow, began the king, perhaps a small... Oh no, Esmeralda shot straight up. Albert Duckworthy, if you're not gone in 10 seconds flat, I'll have your tail feathers. Then she chased him from the room. And he could have avoided all of that if he had just told her she looked great. Okay, and that night, look at the poor queen, she's had to take her crown off, and it's on her stomach, and she just looks exhausted, and she says, I'd give half my kingdom to deliver these eggs right now, she cried from the open windows, hoping someone somewhere would help and hear. It didn't happen. Afternoon turned into evening, evening to night, but the queen did not sleep. The next day dawned fair and mild, perfect for egg laying. A nursery worker, little Miss Shue, anxiously asked the queen if there was anything she wanted to eat. I seem to have lost my appetite, said Esmeralda. In truth, she was starving, but she never would have admitted that, had not Miss Shue spoke again. Pardon me, your highness, but me mum had a stubborn egg once. She thought she would carry it forever, so you know what she did? Esmeralda shook her head. Ate everything in the kitchen, she did. Cleaned out the cabinets and sent us to the cellar for more. And you know what happened? The egg came. And after that, 22 more. which really isn't possible, kids, because the clutches are usually run between 9 to 12 eggs, so 22 would have been like astronomical. Without further ado, Queen Duckworthy placed her breakfast order. Now, if you've got a queasy stomach, we'll get through this. Here's what she ordered. Corn and chickpea casserole flavored with termites, a plate of buttered fishing worms, dandelion salad, 50 cricket legs with hot salsa, and filtered bog water with 3 sugars per cup. 2 hours later, all the food was in the hatchery. It had been a enormous task. And look at that poor waiter, all that food. And they're spilling the soup into the cake. Esmeralda ate everything, even scoured the floor for one last termite and gobbled it up. Then, before the astonished eyes of the nursemaid, she fell asleep. Mark my words, said Miss Shue, she'll deliver that stubborn egg quick as a wink. 2 hours later, the queen awoke with a tummy ache. There were no eggs, and Miss Shue was sent to work tending maggots and worms. Dr. Squawk was called, but there was nothing he could do. Oh, I'd give everything I own for a batch of fishtail ferns. The room went still, because everyone knew that fishtail ferns grew in the Forbidden Valley bog, and everyone knew that a zombie lived there. When no one responded, she threw them out and cried herself to sleep. Now, if you look at this picture here, I mean, she has just lost it, hand over her eyes, sobbing her heart out, and everybody's scared to death. Okay. When she woke, she felt stiff, grumpy, and unloved. Then she noticed an enormous batch of fishtail ferns, so fresh that water still clung to their fronds. Someone had entered the Forbidden Valley bog for her. Oh, probably Albert. He did love her. She ate and ate until they were gone and her craving was satisfied. And again, Esmeralda fell into a deep sleep and dreamed she delivered the stubborn egg. She woke in the afternoon feeling lighter somehow, and as she stretched her wings, she felt little lumps beneath her. 12 enormous duck eggs lay on the nesting pillow. She quacked loudly. Chaos followed. The king was the first to enter, followed by Dr. Squawk with his duckoscope, who pronounced each egg fit as a fiddle. Now, a duckoscope functions in the same way as a sonogram, so he could see those little ducks that shell. Servants dragged coins to the balcony and threw them to the crowd. 3 cheers for the queen! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! The celebration might have gone on for hours, but the queen had delivered her clutch at that brief time just before dusk, a time that reminds ducks of foxes and weasels and makes them uncomfortable. In other words, she delivered her clutch at a very dangerous time for ducks, when they could be eaten or destroyed. Soon the flock headed for their homes. Esmeralda hopped off her nest and motioned for Bonita to have a seat, for duck eggs must never grow cold, and took herself off to the palace spa to have her feathers washed and her beak trimmed. The ductician had just started when an awful sound was heard from the nursery. Bonita squawked. I'll do that again. Quack emergency, foul, 911, foul, 911. Good heavens, said Esmeralda, looking in the mirror. The eggs were just laid. King Duckworthy ran in. His feathers stuck out in all directions. Our children are zombies, he screamed at his wife. Impossible, said the queen. Come and see. They've already hatched and they're pasty gray. They can't have hatched, retorted Esmeralda. The fuzz is gray? Not their fuzz, their skin, shouted the king, pulling his wife. They don't have fuzz, they have feathers, horrible feathers, and green eyes, and they growl. At the doorway to the hatchery, a large figure blocked their way. And here's my favorite character, a zombie. About time, said the large figure. It was a purple feathered female draped in a red boa. She carried a red handbag and wore a matching hat. Scraggly yellow hair hung just beneath her beak. Her feet were the size of dinner plates and covered with sores. Yeah, I bet she had to order shoes off the net because those are big feet. Who are you? The king asked. He tried to sound kingly, but it came out like the whine of a child sent to the principal's office. Who are you? The zombie said, my name is Purple Rage. Who invited you? The queen demanded. A zombie Purple Rage might be, but that zombie was standing in her nursery near her babies. Well, you did, the zombie said, watching with motherly pride as the zombie ducklings tore up the hatchery, chipping paint from the mural on the wall. You made a verbal contract. For years, I've wanted a family, and now I have yours. There was no doubt the ducklings were zombies. Their eyes were green, their quacks were growls, and their duck flesh an unhealthy gray. Their sparse feathers were every color in the rainbow. You turned our children into zombies, Esmeralda? Bellowed the king. Sure she did, cackled Purple Rage. The queen offered to give everything she owned for fishtail ferns, and I supplied her with a batch, which she ate heartily. You ate fishtail ferns from the Forbidden Valley bog? The king was incredulous. You accepted food from a zombie? Now that is a pact. When you accept food from a zombie, you're in it till the end, boys and girls. And she says, I had a craving. Besides, I thought they were from you. Me? Enter the Forbidden Valley? How dumb do you think I am? The queen narrowed her eyes. I fulfilled my part of the bargain, continued Purple Rage. I wasn't talking about my children, said the queen. Really? Let me quote, began Purple Rage. I would give everything. She reached into her purse and pulled out a Merriam-Webster dictionary. Every refers to all things in a group or class. In this case, 12 eggs. Then she turned the pages until she found thing. A noun refers to an object, animal, or quality. A verbal contract isn't binding, protested the queen. Hey, you ate the ferns, the deal is sealed. Purple Rage snapped her purse shut and two of her nails fell off. Isn't that all? That's one of the hazards of being a zombie. Like you're always losing things, like your nails, your nose, your ears, your feet. Anyway, come along, children. The zombie ducklings were having too much fun to obey. Two had grabbed dueling swords and were slashing in the air. Three were spewing water on the furniture, and two others were into the royal jewel box and were cracking diamonds with their beaks like candy. The rest had climbed up a royal tapestry that depicted the history of the kingdom and were tearing it apart. One stole Purple Rage's hat, revealing a bald, scabby head. She hissed. This gave the king an idea. Are you sure you want all of them? They're mine, Purple Rage said. Perhaps, said the king, but can you control such a large brood? Why don't we split them? Never, gasped the queen. They're my babies. Really? Asked Purple Rage and arched her eyebrows. Watch this. She gave a high zombie whistle, and it went like this. Children, come to mommy. All activity ceased at her whistle, but then the zombie ducks went right back to doing what they were doing. You may be right, conceded Purple Rage. I can start with 6. And she called out, let's go, Mega Chomp, Razorbeak, Meat Shredder, Endless Scream, Clutterguts, and Zombetta. That's John, Sam, James, Isabella, Charlotte, and Sabine, said the queen. Then I'll take the other 6, said Purple Rage. Waddle up, Blood Ruby, Smoking Hot Feet, Pretty Deadly, Feather Blade, Stench Breath, and Arm Biter. Stop, stop. Stop, screamed the queen. Oh, that's Kylie, Gabby, Hannah, Landon, Tim, and Parker. I won't let you call them by common names, hissed Purple Rage. Then they will not be yours, not a single one, the queen said firmly. Notice this picture. Her hat came off her head. She's so angry. See the scabby bald head? Yeah, it's pretty disgusting, don't you think? Okay. Just then, the entire tapestry depicting the history of Waddleland fell to the floor. Why don't you, King Duckworthy, met Purple Rage's green-eyed glare, take half of them for 6 months? The king looked at his wife. While you, dearest, take the rest. At the end of 6 months, we'll exchange flocks. Excellent, said Purple Rage, swelling up again. This way I can spend more time teaching them the death waddle and the zombie beat click. And I, said Queen Duckworthy, can work on manners and personal hygiene. Rain and Bonita will teach them how to read. Zombies don't read, retorted Purple Rage. We go on gut instinct. Mine will read, said the queen smugly. Just when another argument was in the making, the huge chandelier over the middle of the room crashed to the floor. Mega Chomp, Razorbeak, Meat Shredder, Endless Scream, Clutterguts, and Zombetta, now! Now was spoken in the same tone that all mothers use when they're at the end of their rope and the zombie ducks lined up quickly behind Purple Rage. I use that tone a lot in the grocery store. Goodbye, Sam, John, James, Isabella, Charlotte, and Sabine, waved the queen. And that's how the royal ducklings became zombie ducks for 6 months out of the year. When they were with Purple Rage, they learned the death waddle, the zombie beat click, which paralyzes enemies with fear, and how to eat bullfrogs whole, which is a very important skill if you're a zombie duck because they just get so ravenously hungry, they just want to cram the whole thing in their mouth, which they do. Okay. Those left with the Duckworthies were given a daily mixture of St. John's wort and golden seal to calm them down. They learned to use duck wipes after every meal, just kind of wiped at the corner of their beaks, and Rain and Bonita taught them the alphabet. When they had too much energy, they were sent out to run around the castle grounds until they were tired. Soon 6 months passed, and it was time for the exchange. Purple Rage brought her zombie ducklings to the castle, hissing and growling so fiercely that the crocodile dove deep into the moat. And it's pretty hard to scare a crocodile. Look at the top there. You can even see fear in his eyes. And he's got his big tooth out, the right tooth, which all crocodiles have, that stays out of the corner of their mouth. Okay, but they're more afraid of Purple Rage than they are the crocodile. Do you think she's going to eat us? Asked Gabby, soon to be known as Smoking Hot Feet. Worse, said the queen. She's going to try to turn you into a zombie like her, but you've been well trained and Duckworthy blood flows in your veins. Read a book a day, floss your beak, and don't slouch. Good posture will drive her crazy. The exchange took place on the drawbridge. 6 zombie ducks waddled across while 6 proper ducklings marched into the rotting arms of their new mother. But then, unexpectedly, the ducklings rebelled. I don't want to drink dirty bog water, cried Gabby. I want tea sweetened every morning. Queen Esmeralda smiled, but then Mega Chomp, also known as John, cried, Hey, I want a pet crocodile. And he dove into the moat. The others howled in fury. Hey, I saw him first. Mega Chomp won't share. Children, children. The queen motioned for the guards. Purple Rage glared at her new brood of 6. You are soft, she hissed through her crooked beak. A disgrace to the ancient name of zombie. You even smell like perfume. It's the SPF 45. Having angered her earlier, Gabby was now trying to be helpful. Mommy makes us wear it so we won't look like you. By this time, the guards had hauled John out of the moat, hissing and squirming, and were holding him by each wing. Give him to Rain and Bonita for a leech check and a tar shampoo, the queen commanded. If you don't know what a leech is, it looks like a fat fishing worm, and you can find them in swamps. And if you go in the swamp, say like shorts on or a bathing suit, they attach to your legs and they suck blood. And they're really hard to get off. So let's hope that tar shampoo does it. Shampoo, disgraceful, quacked Purple Rage. Ladies, ladies, ladies. The king appeared on the bridge. He looked each duck in the eye. We're here to swap ducklings, not exchange insults. Fine with me, agreed Purple Rage. We need to be off so these ducklings can begin extreme zombie training. Forward, ducklings! They lined up behind her. Fine, shouted Esmeralda. I've got to soak these children in a heated bath with sliced lemons and a hint of lang lang. Purple Rage gave an earth-shaking growl. Ugh. Just the mention of perfume drives her crazy. Albert, left standing on the bridge, felt something with sharp claws crawling up under his vestments. A crab or a snapping turtle or a baby crocodile. But no, it was his daughter, Charlotte, also known as Clutterguts. Hello, Daddy-O, she cried, and gobbled the glasses dangling from his nose. And this is only the beginning, thought the king, as he watched his spectacles slide as smoothly as a bullfrog down her throat. Well, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be giving 2 more readings about my zombie ducks. The next one is about John, the one called Megachomp, and it's John Megachomp DDS because he's been born with a full set of teeth, and he becomes the first duck dentist. And the second book is called Tight Squeeze, and it's about a duck that can assume any shape that he wants to assume. And finally, he assumes a shape that saves the entire village of Waddle from burning down to the ground. And thank you for being with me here today. Goodbye.